she said, I just got off the phone with the president. I know you just did. What did he tell you about this bill? Now, obviously, they're not talking about Biden. They're talking about Trump, who was not president at the time. But even though we won't talk about that disrespect. No. But
right.
It's what Mike Johnson said is that Trump, that the president said he doesn't want this bill to be passed. And they said on television because it would be bad for the election. So we're killing it.
Yeah, that's the political game, and I don't like it.
But we rewarded it. So my whole thing is, you know that there's an issue, and Trump cares so fucking much.
Well, how did he fix it within the first month?
What do you mean fix? So
we had record low illegal immigration within the first month of him coming.
You have to trust every number reported, and two, but I'm not going to go there. That's cheap. That's a cheap cop out. I'll admit. So two.
I could say that about any argument.
So yeah, exactly.
That's the information.
Numbers. But two.
But
who the fuck is trying to get here now?
Exactly. The messaging matters.
But see, and
when they know the door's open,
that's where. But see, that's
20 million people walk through.
But see, that's where.
When they know it's closed, you can look it up.
But that's
100 people walk through it.
But that's where it gets skewed, because to me, I don't think that's what America is supposed to represent. Fuck you. You're not allowed.
Enforcing our borders.
Shutting your door to immigration, unless you're a South African white refugee, then you can come in.
No, dude.
But that's what happened. I'm sorry for raising my voice. Go ahead.
This is an important distinction to make. Okay. There's a difference between illegal immigration and immigration. As far as I know, Trump has not closed the door. The door is open. There's a process in place so you can go through the door.
But
the door gets opened for you. If you open my door, that's when it's a problem.
Okay, so
you're not allowed to open my door.
So can we talk about a different form of fixing that isn't just enforcement and we're going to deport you to El Salvador and send you to prison?
Are they El Salvadorian?
No, the people going there are not just El Salvadorian. Those aren't. It wasn't 150,000 just.
Yeah, they're not all actually Salvadorian.
Okay,
but how about
they are supposedly connected to the El Salvadorian gang. So
which then you have a lot of discrepancies on that too. But again,
but that's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're dealing with 20 million people and you don't have any discrepancies, then you just deserve to run the government forever.
Due process really helps with that. I understand where due process you have to have them and then keep them in jail here and let them go through the process. But my issue is
I don't want to pay for that.
Oh, see, and that's
they came here legally. Why do I have to fund their legal defense?
You don't think that they're owed that though in this country? The Constitution says that.
It does.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The problem I have
it doesn't specify U.S. citizens either.
Okay. So I might say something controversial here. I guess.
Please.
So I think we have principles.
Yeah.
When we're fortunate enough to be able to have principles, right? So let's say like
you're a utilitarian, basically.
You're against stealing, right?
Yeah.
But if your children are starving, you would steal to get food to feed them. But you wouldn't rest on your principles in a case where you had something that was in contradiction.
Okay.
So how are you supposed to solve the problem?
So can you not,
if you have to provide 30 million or 20 million people or 30 million people or whatever number it is, and they have to go through our legal process, which takes years, and I know the feel-good answer is just...
that's the problem.
I know the feel-good answer is everyone just deserves this. But then you cannot solve the problem. But and that's where we're at. Do we want to solve the problem or not?
Okay, so...
go ahead.
Okay, well, I was going to respond to...
Please.
If your children are starving, you're going to go against your principles, right?
Yeah, and it's an extreme example.
No, it's the example.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's what I always say about a government. Watch it. Because when a motherfucker's hungry, they'll kill you for food. Mm-hmm. There's nothing you're going to do that's going to cause my kid to starve.
Yeah.
Okay? Can you not put that same thought process and perspective and empathy into the people who cross here illegally when that's their predicament?
I have no problem with the individuals.
So, but the process is broken.
I'm not making a moral indictment.
But the process is broken. So
no, our process is not. Their country is broken.
No.
Our process is not broken.
Both things can be true at the same time. So
we don't allow illegal immigration.
The process shouldn't take years.
That's a normal.
It shouldn't take years.
That's our legal system, though.
But no. The immigration process takes years.
Oh, the legal immigration. Yes,
bro. Listen, I have worked with guys who were born here, or guys who were brought here as kids and went to high school here, graduated, and worked here for 10 years, and they're still waiting on their citizenship.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like that shouldn't be a thing.
Could it be streamlined? Yes, but it also, I mean,
but that would fix the problem.
It wouldn't. Well.
Majority of the issue.
It could help fix the problem, but the problem is that immigration has to be, it can't be a free for all. It has to be monitored and tracked, and it has to be implemented in a way that it doesn't impose negative consequences on the actual population that lives here. If you bring in our population is I think about 340 million people.
Right.
Okay. 20 million people is a significant part of that. Can you communicate with most of these people? Some of them, maybe.
Okay, but
do you share? But this is going to change the makeup of whatever city a large mass of these people go to.
Okay,
and that maybe that could be a good thing.
So,
but say a city that's super rich in history, like
New York City.
New York City. Right, it has its own culture. If 500,000 Mexican immigrants immigrated there tomorrow, do you think the culture of that city would change? Would it be the same?
There's other boroughs, brother.
There's already a housing crisis in places like New York City.
Oh, I hadn't even gotten to infrastructure.
And then you already have the issue where those cultures have already been pushed out through gentrification and things of that matter, where the people that are from that area that make up that group, they get pushed out.
So I don't see how you can expect people to be okay with that. And maybe you're okay with that, but you don't typically have to deal with the consequences.
So
the people in Texas deal with the consequences.
What do you mean?
The people in Arizona deal with those consequences. Southern California.
Where do us in Southwest Florida not deal with consequences?
The consequences of Mexican immigration.
We deal with illegals all the goddamn time, bro.
No, I know. Well,
especially in my field. Oh, in my field, immigration.
I'm saying to that degree.
To be honest, immigration in my field, in the HVAC industry, has severely impacted.
Well, no, I mean, look at any construction crew. And again, I'm saying this. I'm not saying it to denigrate the individual people.
I know.
It's the process.
It's a fair opinion, and this is where I think how we began this. We have two different perspectives. To me, I look at it like with the taxes, and I wanted to hit that earlier. I believe in the Constitution, and I hold that Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the poem on the Statue of Liberty to heart.
It's a good document.
It is very important to me.
The poem on the statue is irrelevant to me, but
not to me. The Pledge of Allegiance is not irrelevant to me. To say liberty and justice for all is what I always held on to.
Whenever you have a stopping, I want to read this comment. Okay. So just letting you know.
You can go ahead if you want to.
Pretty sure to seek asylum, you must enter a legal port of entry. So if you're jumping walls and sailing makeshift boats on shore, you aren't seeking asylum. So
okay. Fair enough.
Because sometimes if we let it get too far, it's hard to actually address the comments.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's a good point.
And that's a fair point. But to me, I look at it as when you look at like taxes. If you read the first article of the Constitution, it is very clear that we have to take taxes. It is very clear that states have to take their own taxes. Communities have to take their own taxes. That is in the first article of the Constitution.
We didn't have an income tax for quite a while.
Okay, but we also didn't.
Does this have to do with immigration?
Well, I'm bringing it all back to where when we break down as to what we believe this country is. To me, I look at immigration is a major part of this country. And that when you look at the Irish community, the Italian community, the Russian community, every community from Cubans to Haitians, there's always been an influx at a time of need.
But the amount matters. But the amount matters.
But why? What do you mean?
The enforcement of assimilation matters.
Okay.
And we've gotten away from that with our immigration in this country. But it is suggested that it's somehow racist to say when you move to another country, you should adopt... not get rid of your own culture, but adopt the culture of the country you're moved to. I mean, I saw a bunch of bullshit that it's racist
but what's American culture?
That we should be an English-speaking country.
But that's stupid.
We do speak
hold on.
That doesn't mean you can't be bilingual.
But we've never had it. But we've never declared a national language.
Yeah, because now it's becoming an issue where you can't communicate with people that you share a country
Brother,
with.
you have a phone. You just Google Translate. I talked to Hispanic customers.
Is that a legitimate?
Why not? But we got.
I should have to use my phone to talk.
Why not? They're human beings, brother. Like
yes, they're human beings. Why not? If you were to immigrate to Japan, would you not take it upon yourself to learn their customs?
I cannot learn
their
Japanese.
tradition and learn their language.
I want to be, and honestly, I think
it's the most narcissistic thing to.
That's a hard language to learn. You know how hard it is to learn a language.
That you should be able to come as a guest to a country, but then not have to change.
Yeah.
At all.
I feel your point,
and
Cody.
Expect everyone else in the nation to change to accommodate you.
But I feel your point, but I think you're getting a little bit away from what makes America different. America's culture and Japan's culture they might as well be opposites in a lot of ways.
Well, I'm not saying the cultures are the same.
Well, but when you're saying in Japan, should you be able there's an expectation that we will take immigrants on here, and we will be not that they're not going to learn our language, but that we'll be patient with them while they do.
I think we should be patient.
Yeah,
I think we should help people that immigrate to our country. I think we should.
Well, but regardless, you're going to have to pull that phone out because there's going to be a period where they're trying to learn the language.
That's not my problem. My problem is the mindset of saying they don't. There's no reason to learn English. There's no reason to assimilate. But that's the mindset.
I don't know that that's the common mindset though. I think I agree that is a mindset. I would disagree with those people.
Maybe I'm reading the headlines and I'm applying that like we talked about. Maybe I'm applying that too broadly. But I see a lot of that.
I agree. That
is what I don't like.
But forgive me when I push back by saying that's what nationalism is. You expect everyone to come here and just adapt to what we are. No, you're going to come here and be American. But what the fuck is American? American, it means so many different things. We're a multiculturalism country.